Hello. I don't really do this, and I feel like for a long time I've been waiting for the right tools and the right video and the right ideas to kind of start talking to you guys a little bit more. But there's been a lot in my mind recently, and I feel like this is the right time for me to share my thoughts and see if there's anybody out there that it's on the same page as me, and maybe we can connect and go through this together. But I feel like it's interesting because I feel like by now everybody knows how Instagram affects you in different ways and how looking at beauty magazines will only make you feel ugly and comparing yourself only makes you feel like shit. But we still do it anyways. And I feel like recently it's just I've been on a battle with my emotions so much, and I feel like I've been really tough on myself on the idea of being happy because for the last year or so, I've been struggling to maintain a level of happiness that I'm content with. So I wake up and I feel like very hopeful, and then for the last year, for some reason, no matter how hopeful I wake up, I feel like I'm walking down the street and I just get bricks thrown at me, thrown at my face and then I'm like, shit, like all this hopefulness that I woke up with like drifts away so fast. It's so easy for you to change how I feel just by something going wrong. And it's interesting because recently I feel like my whole life has been going wrong. um Job wise, relationships wise, life wise, but in a lot of ways it's also been going good, but I can't look past it. It's interesting because no matter how happy you should be with your life, sometimes you're just not. For a long, if I were to think back to when I left high school, I moved to New York and I was studying journalism. And for the first year, I went there thinking that my dream was to work in a little office in New York, have like my little desk. And I remember just thinking, I'm gonna work my whole life to make it, to New York Times and National Geographic and all of this. And it's so funny because that changed real quick. As I started going, my first, second semester, I noticed there was a gap in education that I didn't connect with. How I expressed myself or my ideas was never right, or people told me it was never right, or people told me I had to write a certain way, or I had to do, things in a way that it was acceptable, or in a way that would get me an A. And I feel like through writing in a certain way, I kind of lost myself, or what I wanted to do kind of changed. I didn't want to write like that. I didn't want to do that anymore. And you're faced at that point. You're faced with you gotta choose something that you want to do, but really, how the hell are you supposed to know what you're gonna do for the rest of your life when you're 18 or 19? Like, that's crazy. Or 20 or 25. Like, that's insane. But like everybody else, I had to make a choice. So I decided to study business and marketing because I thought that was something that could be applied to anything in my life in case I never found what I wanted to do. Which, I did get my degree and I'm happy I did. But at the end of the day, I don't think it really added much value to my life, but I do believe that the experience was worth it. Anyways, point is, I remember once, before I even graduated, I started working from home and I was traveling, and I found somebody that told me like about this website where I can work from home and I can get jobs and I can travel and make money. Which, let's be honest, who doesn't want to travel and make money? I feel like that's literally like, if you could put two things in a sentence that makes me happy, that was it. So for a long time, I worked in this really shitty job, but it was the first job I ever got, working from home. So I was really excited about it. And then as time went by, the idea changed. My dreams became different. I started working from home. I've been working from home for about 3 years now, and I've been lucky enough to travel all these years and still make money while traveling, which is incredible and I'm extremely thankful for. But I feel like I remember the first emotion I had when I got this job. I was like, shit, this is it. I hit my peak. I'm making it. I'm making it in life. This is awesome. This is everything that I want. This will give me the freedom. This job will give me the freedom to do the things that I love, which was traveling. I wanted to find something that I wanted to do that will make me feel like I'm living my purpose. So that was either with writing, or I opened my company and I wanted to have the time to focus on that. So basically working from home gave me, when I started working from home, I went, into this, not career, but this lifestyle, thinking like, this will help me not just make money, but it will give me the freedom to work on my dreams. But flash forward, I find myself now here, like thinking like, shit, like I haven't been living my dreams. This was my dream for a long time, but this changed and I haven't been able to adapt to who I am now. So I've been telling myself like, hey, you're living this amazing life, like you got everything you want, you should be happy. And I keep telling myself I should be happy. But shit, it's not as easy as it sounds, You write posts about being happy and traveling and this and that, but when you're upset, you're like in this black hole that, you cannot get out of it, like it's not, you can do the perfect like morning routine and you can go or work out and you can do all these things, but when you're sad or depressed, whatever, it's not something that you snap out of it. And it's interesting because I preach, usually all my messages that I write, I try to be positive and I try to see this silver linings of things, and I do that really well. But for the longest time, I've been sitting here upset and I don't know how to get out of it. So what the hell am I saying? But it's funny because, that used to be my dream life. When did my dream life went from dream life to a life that I'm not happy with? What point, did that change? And it's funny because in a lot of ways, I try to fix the issue like on the easy aspect of it. So change this, change that, get, new city or get a new apartment or but it's all these little small things instead of really like working at it, And it's difficult because there are things that you're supposed to do to feel happy, but doing those things when you're going through the process of not being happy, it's really difficult. And you see my life here, which I don't think nobody really cares about, but you see my posts, I try to be as honest as I can with how I feel about things, but there's a lot deeper emotions that people don't talk about. And I think, for a long time, for the last year, I've been trying to fix my emotions, or I've been trying to like control my emotions, but I haven't allowed myself to feel or to really like sit down and think about where I'm at and what I want to do. Because that's a difficult question, like how am I supposed to know what I want to do? And I feel like if I sit down, if I'm not doing anything, it drives me nuts because I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do in my life. And it makes me feel it's a trap, like you feel like you need to do something and then it makes you feel shitty about where you're at, and then it makes you like feel sad, and then it goes round and round, but there is no getting out of that, unless you really want to. But the point is, I feel like in a lot of ways I made my current situation a situation that I was okay with. So I painted this life that it was a fake life, not for you guys, but for myself more than anything, I had this job that I didn't like, but I told myself, this is good. This is a good job. You should be happy with. This is a good life. You should be happy with. But I wasn't really facing my emotions. I created this, imaginary universe of where I'm okay with all these things that are happening in my life, and then I try to be the ones in control of those things. But then little by little, all these things starts falling down, and then you realize you have no control over these things. I think at the end of the day, even getting control over your emotions, it's a difficult thing. And then as everything is falling down, it's really hard for you to find the silver lining, or for you to like be able to see through it. It happened to me. I feel like in a matter of a week or two, my life changed, from making a lot of money to making no money, to landlord giving me shit about my Airbnb, to a million things like crashing at the same time. And then you sit there and you think, damn it, like why is this going on? Like I for all those who know me, they know that I do a lot of Airbnb and it's been doing really well, so I'm happy about that. But it's funny because for the last month or two, my life has been falling apart in a lot of ways. And it's just, 3 days ago, my landlord reaches out to me and he tells me that I can, have people staying over, or he just gives me a bunch of shit about things that I'm doing. And I'm like, really? Like, you gotta be kidding me. Everything is going wrong. Like, why you gotta do this right now? Can you not wait a month to give me some shit about this? And it's interesting because I messaged the person that was staying in my apartment and I told them like, hey, I can accept your reservation, but you have to tell them that you're my family in case somebody asks. And the person has the audacity to reply to me and say, okay, that's such an inconvenience. Can we get a discount? And I'm like, no, why do people gotta be like this? When you just had so much, and then this person is just like, are you kidding me? I'm not Hilton. I'm taking a fucking chance on this. And it pisses me off. I feel like I've been so angry at the world, and I've been so angry at all these things that's happening around me that I can't control. And then I'm posting pictures of this life that I live, I do have really happy moments in my life too. But it's difficult sometimes for you to get to a point where you accept that, damn, I'm not where I want to be. And I think while all of that was happening, it was really difficult for me to realize that there is something good from all of this. I initially got this apartment so that I could be there. It's by the beach, and then I got obsessed with money, and then in a second I booked my whole apartment. I didn't even have a place to stay. I was staying with somebody else. But what was the point of that? I booked that apartment initially so that I could be there and I can enjoy my apartment. Instead, I've been renting it out, and I realized that I can make money, but unto what point does money buy your dreams? And for the longest time, that dream life that I had from working from home went from a dream life to Jesus, I can't get out of this. And I feel like for a long time, I was dealing with it in the best way that I could, but I was working for somebody that I wasn't happy with. And I had different clients that I worked with, but I would never quit that job because it was just so easy. It brought me money. It was an easy job. It would be dumb of me to quit the job. But at the same time, I wasn't happy. But why do we continue to do things that we're not happy with just because of money? It's crazy. I understand we all have to make money, and it is, we gotta pay the bills. I definitely understand that. But I myself, I'm in a situation where I could take a break and figure out what I want to do in my life. But instead, I think I just got so obsessed with the idea of making money that I forgot about all my dreams. And right now I sit here and I feel like I'm back at step one, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing in my life? How do I where do I go from here? And I'm back at, I feel like I've been here already before, and now I have to really sit down and deal with my emotions and figure out what I actually want to do, because what started as a dream life, what it started as a dream job so that I could pursue my dream life, went in a completely different way. I'm not doing anything that I thought this dream life would bring me. I'm just living day after day doing something I'm supposed to do, but not what I want to do. It's so, your mind and your lifestyle is so easily changed by money, and it's so difficult for you to get out of that, or for you to say no. Who doesn't want money? But I feel like eventually I reach a point where there's just so much money can bring, and I feel like I've been really unhappy with where I'm at, as far as not fun. I'm just not happy. I'm not doing what I want to do, and I have all these big dreams, but I just don't know which step to take, or which direction to go, or what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I feel like shit, nobody really knows, or some people do, and you compare yourself to them and you feel like shit. How come am I not like them? Or is there something wrong with me? Why do I not know what I want to do? And I think it's a really difficult thing to talk about, and I think it's really hard for you to reach a point where you accept that you just don't know what you want to do. And I think at that point is when you really think outside the box, and when you're really in touch with yourself, that you start to realize, okay, well, this is, I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that, let's think about steps. And even, I don't know, it's so vulnerable to be in a space where you realize that you're I don't know, you're not where you are, like where you're at in life, not just, financially, but emotionally and as a person. And you can create this life in your mind, but it's funny because sometimes the emotions don't match up with the life that you're creating. So then you have to really, dig a little deeper to yourself and like figure it out, like where am I lying to myself? What point in my life or which aspect of my life it's not in line with what I want, and why am I sad? Like why am I not content with where I'm at? And I think nobody, I'm feeling really like frustrated with the world, and I feel like it's difficult because everybody posts this perfect life on Instagram, and you look around you and your friends all have established careers and they know what they want to do, and then you sit there. It's normal for you to sit there and think like, damn, like, is this it? Like, is this life? I just do this and I go from this to this. Is this it? Do I, and I feel like I'm really hard on myself when it comes to this, um, but anyways, I kind of wanted to like just touch base on the idea of money and dreams, and I feel like I'm like a fool. Anybody that knows me will tell you that I'm a full dreamer and I support whatever anybody that's in my life. But sometimes I don't support myself, or I am hard on myself, and I feel like a lot of people can, a lot of people feel this way, and I kind of just wanted to remind you that it's okay. If I wanted you to look a little bit more deeper into your life and think about all these dreams you had when you were little, or all this, how many people dream to be an astronaut? How come that never became possible, and why? Like, why can you not do that? Like, if somebody's gonna do it, why not you? But I think it's really difficult to accept that you're not where you're at, like where you want to be in life as far as mental health and feeling fulfilled. And if I learned something, is that money, it's nice. I love money, but it does not bring the fulfillment that you want for the rest of your life. So if you're like me and you're struggling to figure out what you want to do with your life, and if you feel like a little lost and sad and you feel like you're being hard on yourself, it's okay. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it gets better. I know eventually it will, but it's tough while you're going through it. And then if you need anybody to be there with you, or to support you, or to talk to you about anything, let me know, because I'm right here and I'm live proof that this life is freaking, could be amazing, but sometimes it's difficult. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that everything is okay when it's not. There is a lot in our minds that needs to be worked through. And if you need anybody to do that with you, I'm just as lost as you. So just let me know and I'll be here for you.